time to talk about a very special time for us, the Mark Chaffin Community Award, which is given in honor of the life and legacy of Dr. Mark Chaffin. Dr. Chaffin was a leader in the field of child maltreatment research. His main areas of research focus on child abuse and neglect and delinquency intervention and service systems, particularly the development and implementation of evidence-based prevention and treatment approaches within the public sector service systems. I think you all heard a little bit about that just a few minutes ago. He dedicated his career to helping at-risk children and families with a sense of fundamental ethics and the need to do the right thing. This award recognizes an individual who has made repeated, significant, and outstanding contributions and commitment to the prevention of child abuse and neglect in Georgia, as demonstrated by consistent involvement and strong leadership in child abuse prevention, recognition by colleagues and peers as an informed, passionate prevention leader, advocacy for and or participation in prevention strategies at the individual, community, or societal level that have the greatest potential to assure that children and families have safe, stable, nurturing relationships and environments, and the ability to motivate and bring together multiple individuals, groups, sectors in support of prevention strategies, policies, and practices with data-supported results. So the person that has been selected for this award is Dr. David Earnest. And I would like to introduce you all to Carol Steele, who will be presenting the award to Dr. Earnest. Carol is the former director of the Office of Prevention and Family Support, which is now known as the Prevention and Community Support Section at DFACS, and a longtime friend and supporter to the Prevent Child Abuse Georgia Network. We're really thrilled to welcome Carol here with us today.
Hi, everyone. Can you hear me?
Hi, Carol. Yes. Great to see
Hi.
you.
Good to see you too. To all my dear friends and colleagues, hello from surviving California. Although it is 3 hours earlier here, I would not miss this moment for the world for my dear friend, Dr. David Earnest, who I call Dave. Who is more deserving than Dr. David Earnest? Dave has always dedicated his career and life to doing the right thing by children and families. Dave is recognized by his peers and colleagues as an informed, passionate leader, prevention leader, for the last 33 plus years. Dave started his illustrious career fighting the good fight for prevention back in 1987, when I believe someone named Mike Steele hired him as a regional director for PCA Georgia. And Dave, he sends his congratulations your way. His accomplishments are many, and just to name a few, during his tenure at PCA Georgia, he managed the development of a network of nonprofits that grew from 12 to 66. He implemented an assortment of trainings for healthcare providers, law enforcement, daycare, education professionals. He implemented training on board development, branding, strategic planning, evidence-based outcomes for communities and national organizations and regional organizations. He also, back in 2007 and 8, served as a team member in a CDC-funded project on evidence-based practices in child abuse prevention. And while executive director at PCA Athens, the agency budget increased by 20%, the number of employees grew exponentially, and the number of service numbers to children and families increased each year during his 6-year tenure. He served on the first Clark County Child Abuse Prevention Committee, Protocol Committee, and the Clark County Child Fatality Review Committee. And he was the recipient of the United Way of Northeast Georgia's 2020 Live United Award. And the list goes on and on and on. And if that wasn't enough, I would like to read you his nomination from his colleague at Prevent Child Abuse Georgia and a tribute from Julia Day Neighbors. So give me 1 second. I could not think of a more deserving candidate for this award than Dr. David Earnest. Dave has decided to retire at the end of this year and has dedicated his career to the prevention of child abuse and neglect. Dave worked with Prevent Child Abuse Georgia to help start most of the councils around the state. He would travel around the state and provide technical assistance to sites and provide a wealth of expertise to sites. When David applied for the position as executive director of Prevent Child Abuse Athens, he said it was like coming home. He has always been passionate about the mission and believes in the programs that are designed to support families and prevent abuse. Dave has been a leader across the state for many, many years. He is an incredible leader and truly cares for the people he works with. He speaks passionately about child abuse and neglect and helps raise awareness and dollars for this mission. In addition, Julia Neighbors is grateful for Dave's leadership to the network and especially his support to Prevent Child Abuse Georgia when it was relaunched. Dave's contributions to the network and the Athens-Clarke area have firmly rooted us as we collectively continue to sow the seeds of improving child and family well-being in Georgia. Lastly, I just want to say that I am honored to be able to present this award to my long-term colleague and my dear friend, Dr. David Earnest. I am blessed to have walked side by side with you in the prevention world. Congratulations to the guy who always does the right thing and has been our moral and ethical compass for improving outcomes for children and families in the Northeast region and across all of Georgia. Congratulations, David.
Well, thank you. Can you hear me? Well, there we go. Can you hear me? Carol, that couldn't have been more special. That was a very special surprise for me, for you to be the presenter. Those of you who know me best know that I'm better at giving recognition than I am receiving it. So this is very special to me. I recall 4 years ago when Dr. Chaffin was recognized posthumously at the PCA Georgia conference. A colleague accepted the award on behalf of Dr. Chaffin, and his words were certainly a fitting tribute to an extraordinary man. Mark Chaffin's expertise in and passion for evidence-based strategies to prevent child maltreatment made him a truly remarkable person. In all honesty, I don't think of myself as a remarkable person, but I did have the privilege of working with many people who did remarkable things in their communities to make this a better world for children. I smile when I think about 25 years ago when somebody asked one of my sons what his dad did for a living, and his reply was, "Dad goes to meetings." When I reflect on my career, that's actually a fitting characterization. The last 34 years of my life have been dedicated to helping those least likely to help themselves. However, my role was to assist in creating and sustaining community-based organizations whose volunteers and staff then planned and implemented programs and activities in support of strong families. That's what I plan on that's what I'm going to keep on doing until December when I leave and retire. In truth, it's their work is why I'm being recognized today. And I can't imagine a more rewarding career. Before I mute myself, there are a few people I have to thank, and just some of those who made my career so enjoyable. And they include the current staff and board at Prevent Child Abuse Athens. If I name one, I've got to name them all, so I can't do that. I don't have enough time. However, their dedication to families in the Athens area is extraordinary. The staff at Prevent Child Abuse Georgia, Julia Neighbors, Jill Walsh, Nisha McDowell, and my longtime friend Jeanette Myers, thank you for reviving and sustaining and growing the network. The thousands of board members, volunteers, and staff in the Chartered Council Network that I worked with during the last 28 years. Sandra Alexander and Carol Steele, both friends and colleagues at Prevent Child Abuse Georgia, both made an incredible impression on me as a leader and an advocate for children. Carol Gregg, Carol was my executive assistant at Prevent Child Abuse Georgia for over 20 years. And it was she was the real brain and the organization behind our work with the charter councils. Finally, and most importantly, my sons, Robert and JT, and my wife, Margaret. Margaret endured with a great smile the nonprofit salaries, the long hours and travel that my job demanded. Most importantly, Margaret was always my #1 volunteer at all the agencies I led. My work's email signature for my entire career has been a Confucius quote that says, "Find a job you love and you'll never have to work a day in your life." Well, I was fortunate enough to find that type of job, and I lived that thought out. So in some ways, that makes me the laziest man in the world. Receiving an award like this that pays tribute to Dr. Chaffin is humbling, and I'm profoundly grateful. Thank you for this recognition, and thank each of you for your efforts to create great childhoods for all children.
Thank you so much, Dave. I know it's so anticlimactic not to have all the faces around us cheering and everything like that, but we truly appreciate you being here today, and Carol for giving that speech. We know you guys have known each other for so long. And now we're going to have Nisha McDowell come give us just a couple more housekeeping tips.
Awesome. Thank you, Jill. And congratulations again, Dave. As Jill said, we would have much rather had you in a room full of folks who